fact, I could get it up on my phone as well, couldn't I?
Perfect. All right. It looks like we are live on Soul Chats with psychic medium Dani Jo. And I'm super excited to have the amazingly talented and gifted Leanne Higgs with me today, or Lee, if some of you call her that. Anyway, we're just going to wait just a moment here and let a few people find us before we get started. And then we'll answer some questions and chat. So
Yes.
while we're waiting for everybody.
You are so kind, Dani.
Yes. Are you 7 hours ahead of us? Is it 7 p.m. for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
7 p.m.
Okay. Cool. So for those of you just joining us, we have a little bit of a delay in the internet, so be patient with us. And again, we're super excited to have Leanne Higgs here with us today. So hello for all of you joining us. We're going to go ahead and chat up a few things, and we'll take some questions. Also tell you how you can find Leanne. But I want, first of all, Leanne to tell us a little bit of her background, and I'm going to tell you the cool story of how we met, which Leanne may not even remember, but I'll let her give you a little bit of background here. And she is in the UK, for those of you that don't know where she's located. Tell us exactly where.
I'm in a very small town called Bedworth in Warwickshire in the UK. It's like in the middle of Coventry and Birmingham, but it's just like a really small, quiet town where I am now.
Nice.
Very small, but originally from Coventry.
Okay. Cool. So go ahead and give us a little bit of your background, or maybe how you kind of got into spirituality when that kind of fell into place for you.
I think it was always there because my gran was a practicing medium. And I was brought up by my grandparents. It was never put in my face, things like that. But looking back now, you know, like she had so many Chinese ornaments. I'm like, that was your guide, you know, now looking back. But I always felt things, and I had some really strange and not the best experiences when I was younger. But I didn't know what it, you know, I didn't really put anything to it. And then I think when I was 19, I was back living with my biological mother because my grandparents had passed away, and I got myself a pack of tarot cards. And my mum was like, they're the devil's work. Do not have them in my house. Yeah. So I was dabbling a bit from then, I think. And then when I was 24 again, I was doing a lot of reading about the white light. About the white spiritual light. So not anything even in regards to spiritual work as such. It was just about this white spiritual light. And then I had my daughter and didn't do anything for a while. And then what I found I was doing, I was constantly talking to my gran and granddad in my head. And I didn't realise it was actually them speaking back. I thought it was just, I didn't really question it, to be honest. Yeah. And then I started meditating. And there were these people in my meditation, which were guides. I always remember this Buddhist looking guide, and he always used to sit by this like a rainbow river, and he never spoke, just never spoke. And then I had my first interaction with an angel, but I never questioned who these people were and why they were there. And then gradually I stumbled upon this group and then that group, and I really started getting in with my development, surprised myself. I mean, I had no intention of drawing. I never studied art or anything like that. In fact, I was more developing my mediumship and wanting to do my Reiki level 1. But then what it was, when I actually found out what spirit guides were, not just guardian angels, but spirit guides, I just grew really passionate about it. And I really wanted a drawing of my own guide. And I'd be looking online and I just couldn't afford it. Not only couldn't afford it, I think I was scared that they weren't going to bring through who I was seeing. So I wasn't going to get that confirmation, you know. So I got some pencils and I tried drawing my own guides, and he had one arm down here, one arm up here. And I started drawing his face, and I was proud as punch with them drawings. But like, you look at them drawings back then compared to now, it's massively different. And then I just heard in my head one day, because I was working hard daily with building communication with my own spirit guide, get some charcoal pencils. And then from then, I'd just have this urgency to draw. And I'd be drawing and people would be recognising their own spirit guides. Like my teacher at the time recognised two of them straight away. Wait a minute, that's two of my guides.
Wow.
And then just practicing from there. And it still took my teacher at the time to say, Jan, you need to be pushing out with this, you know. And then it just grew from there, really. A lot of time, a lot of practice and a lot of work, but it's where my passion was. So I was giving it everything I had in regards to developing, building that communication with my guides, working with it daily, trusting, but then also getting confirmation that it is actually them. But I learned so many tricks over the years to get that confirmation too. So I'm just hoping to help others do the same.
It takes a long time to get that confidence and trust with spirit, because we're human.
Yeah.
But I want to just share with people a little bit about kind of how we met and the incredible story I love to tell. So for those of you watching, obviously, you know, I am a medium currently, but in the beginning, when I moved to South Dakota, I didn't know I was a medium. And I had a friend who was a medium, and he told me how to meditate to meet my guides. He said to lay down and close my eyes and imagine myself in a white room and imagine one door and have that doorway open and invite my guides in. And I struggled with this. I struggled with it. I like to control things. My mind wouldn't let it flow. And I was so frustrated. I laid there for like an hour and a half. And right at the end, just when I was about to give up, 3 faces flashed in my head. They didn't come through the door. They were just in an instant and gone. And I remember describing them as a fairy, an angel, and a man that looked like Father Time. But that was it. And I didn't do anything more with it for about 15 years. And then as my mediumship kind of developed and I started working in this capacity, I ended up joining some groups, which is where I eventually met you and saw that you were doing spirit art with spirit guides. And just something in me said, I have to get a drawing with you. I have to get a reading with you. So I reached out and ordered a portrait. And when it came, it just blew my mind because it was the white-haired man that I had described as Father Time 15 years previously. And the things that you wrote in that reading resonated, everything that connected to my dad, the age he was when he died, just all of the things. You even described the gold cording that I saw with him. It was just unmistakable that there was that connection there. And that's when I was like, holy shit. I mean, literally, you know, you trust, but there's sometimes those things that happen that you just know there's no doubt in your mind. And just from there, I think you and I kind of have just built a friendship and a rapport from there. And do you even remember doing that drawing for me?
Not particularly.
Yeah. And I
honestly, but I've done literally, I think easy into the thousands now of the amount of spirit guide drawings I do. And I do, as soon as I see them, I remember them. I'm like, yes, I remember that. You know, But one thing with the readings, I'd say I'm more so on the readings than necessarily the art, because I know myself, if it's a loved one, you're going to know straight away. Spirit guide, not necessarily. So I need to make sure I'm bringing things through, and the person's just going to feel it and know. Well, the person will feel it and know, yes, that's my spirit guide. So all that time I've spent working on my own guides, I can work quite well with other spirit guides. And I feel their energy, I feel their personality.
Oops, we've lost her for a minute here.
And as I was drawing him, he made a joke saying he could never grow a good beard. And I was crying, laughing, because he was laughing too, you know, and it's nice to be able to bring that forward, not just a bit of art and a name. It's that closeness with the reading. It helps the people connect. So, yeah, I love doing it because it's just like meeting all these different new people. Yet I know we're all in the same team in a sense, you know, with spirit.
Absolutely. We're all connected. I think one of the cool things too with meeting you for me was the first time I was doing a session with a client that I had a spirit guide step forward. I was so confused. And then when I realized it was a spirit guide, I thought of you and thought, oh, yes, okay, this is okay. But it was interesting because you have to find those details that are going to make that person feel it. And that spirit guide in particular, I'll never forget because it was the first one I connected with. But
yeah,
he told me he lived in the year 1030. And my client said, that's my birth date.
See, it literally all interweaves, doesn't it? It is so clever how everything is put together and done, and the timing of everything.
Yes.
You literally couldn't make it up.
No, it's so cool. So we have a question from Ariel. She asks, does everyone have spirit guides? And I'll let you answer, whatever you want to share with us.
100%. Absolutely. Everybody has spirit guides. Before we're born, we basically write up a life plan with a spirit guide to come here. I know they say we have one main spirit guide that you're born with, but I remember particularly from a very young age, a nun who was around me. And I feel like we might be born with a one spirit guide, but I do feel like we have a female around too, because it balances. So you might have like a male guide you're born with, but I feel like there'll be a female there to balance each other. Like I've got my main guide who was in a slave revolt, which would match, you know, like you look at people, it does in a sense of I'm a bit of a rebel and I like freedom for people. So I get that. But then you've got a nun here who, for me, balances everything with her nurture and everything. She's a healer. She doesn't really talk. Just whenever I see it, I cry. It's like talking without words. It's talking with feelings. So yeah, every person has got a guide, at least one, at least. And I find when you open up to spirituality and the more you develop, as you grow, your team grows. And it's literally like a family tree you're getting to meet. Because even though some of your guides will change, I guarantee you, one you haven't seen for 2 years will pop up again.
Yes.
They will pop back up, literally. So it's literally just like a family tree, and you're getting to meet your family tree because a lot of your spirit guides, especially ones you feel a deep connection with, you've had past lives with. So there's a deeper connection always, and we're always interlinked in special ways, really.
It's amazing. Definitely. I've seen that shown to me in working with clients that they have lived in certain past lives with those guides at times.
Yeah. And that's why we sometimes just feel that instant connection.
Yeah.
You just feel it. It's no other way of describing it. You just feel, wow, wait a minute, I know this person.
Yeah, very cool. Lori Fisher asked, do spirit guides change all the time or stay until you die? I think you kind of answered that, but.
Yeah, I mean, I think some change, but I don't think they ever really disappear. It's just as we grow and develop, our vibrations raise, so we have to get higher vibrational guides. But that's not to say the guys we worked with before are not growing too. So it's always keeping an open mind about who comes through, and try not to get too emotionally attached to one certain guide, because I've been there and done that. My main guy Johan, I was too emotionally attached to, and when he wasn't around, I felt it and it would affect me. So I had to, like with everything in my life, I learned the hard way, but then I can explain it a bit better, I guess. It's just keep an open mind, because they're all there to help you. As long as you ask to make sure that spirit guide's coming from a place of unconditional love, just be open to whatever they're trying to show you.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, that's perfect. I had something to say and I lost it. It'll come back to me. We had one more question. So, well, Corey said you answered her question, so I won't ask it. She was just asking about if a child is born prematurely, if the guide would still be the same if they were born on their actual date. But she said you kind of answered her question. I remember what I was going to say, though. I was working with a client, and there was a spirit guide that came through for them that told me his name was Ram Dass. And my mind said, that's a famous person. I need to look that up. So I was like, hold on a minute. I got to look this up for you. And he was a spiritual leader in the 60s. And my instinct in my head was like, I want a famous spirit guide. That's my thought, right? I want a famous. Yeah. And her guide started laughing at me, and he said, what makes you think you can't work with any master or guide that you choose? And I was like, oh, brilliant. Why didn't I know that? So if there's someone who has a specialty or a gift or something they mastered in their life, like an artist or teacher, we could definitely ask for their assistance. Do you agree on that?
100%. Also, we don't know that they're not already there.
Yes.
Like one trick I've learned with spirit guides is you start getting really drawn to something in particular. Like Da Vinci. I was very drawn to Da Vinci because there was a lot of cryptic messages within his art. And I did get told he does work with me at times. Wow. Helps me learn. Also, Jesus, massively been drawn to Jesus for so many years. Another one, he does work with me. You know, there is so many. And if it's your first thought and that's what comes, don't doubt it. I think we sometimes as well think, oh God, they wouldn't work with me. I mean, I remember I was in a really bad place at the time. I was just feeling really rubbish. And Chief Sitting Bull. Mm-hmm. Just I was laid there and closed my eyes. Chief Sitting Bull popped in my head. And his exact words were, walk with the brave, stand with the fearless. And I thought, and over time I thought to myself, right now I get it. It's walking with the brave, walking with people like I'm walking with. Standing with the fearless is standing with spirit. Which is right. But then a few weeks ago, the words was given back to me again. And it was walking with the brave, and to stand with the fearless is to stand with Jesus Christ. Because he simply had that much faith. And, you know, he healed people. He tried to lead people the right way, in my humble opinion anyway. Yeah. He had his own gifts, and he worked with the lowest of the low. He worked with people that were, you know, that we deem so low class, if they're on drugs, drink. But that's the kind of people he reached out to try and help. But in this day and age, you know, and he didn't care what anybody else thought, because he actually had that faith, absolute faith and love. And that's where the fearless is. You get to that level of fearlessness, there's no stopping you. No stopping you. And I think that's a big part of our growth anyway, is overcoming our fears. But you will meet so many different guides. I mean, I had a reading done with Elaine Thorpe, trance medium, and her guide Jonathan, and that was brought up that I had Silver Birch working with me. Didn't see him. but I was looking to develop trance at the time.
That's
So
awesome.
you do have to trust, because there's no time in spirit, is there? They could literally be here, there, and everywhere. And it's the same way. I've got friends that have passed within the last 10 years. They're actually helping mediums now too. They're taking this part of their existence to help. So if they can do it recently past, why can't somebody? It's just a name and a life they led.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. Yeah. So let's see. Terry Corrigan asked, what are your thoughts on archangels showing up as spirit guides?
It can happen. They can show up in just like body form, or the way it's done is they come through angels, spirit guides, ET guides, whatever, the rest will come through in a way the person is comfortable with. So at the end of the day, remove all the lives they had. They are an energy, they're a soul, and they've got all these hundreds of lives within them, and they're helping guide you. But they will pick a lifetime or a certain disguise, if you like, to work with you in a way that you are going to be most comfortable with. So could they? Quite possibly. Usually when I see angels myself, it's the energy is very different, because working with spirit guides, you feel that personality, you feel like they've had an earthly life. Angels, I feel a little bit emotionless, and I know that sounds quite strange, because you can feel all that love. There's not that I'm trying to think of the word. There's not that understanding of emotions that a spirit guide brings, because I've had them lives. The angels feel very much big, larger than life. And even that you feel so loved and protected, there's not that connection. It's like a completely different connection you'd have with a spirit guide. Because like a spirit guide, you feel like it's a best friend.
Yeah.
And an angel would feel more, oof. So if they wanted to take the form of a spirit guide, I guess they could, yeah. Nothing's impossible in spirit. Absolutely nothing. And it's just whatever the person needs, rather than us saying, yeah, well, that can happen or it can't. If that's what you feel it is, you have to trust that. Nobody can tell you you're right or you're wrong. If you're wrong, you'll find that out.
Yeah, I love your description of that. I think sometimes we get so hung up on what they look like, and they don't look like anything but light beings.
Yeah.
But because we're human, we need that visual to see them. And that's why they appear that way to us, like you said. And I totally understand what you mean. The powerful feeling of an angel or an archangel is completely different than a spirit guide, who still has the resonance of joy and laughter and sadness and fear.
Yeah.
Even though they don't experience that necessarily, but there's that difference of like that human basis, I guess. That brings me to another quick story I want to share. For a period of time, I was seeing a spirit guide from the back of her, and she wore a white cloak with a cross on the back of it. And I would see her often kneeling in prayer. And I kept getting so frustrated that I couldn't see her face. And you ended up drawing her for me. You didn't know I was seeing her, but you ended up doing a drawing for me around that time. And when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh. So she had a very mystical look to her, with like the purples and the glitter and the amazingly beautiful mysticism that comes with that. But I know that she didn't show me her face, because I would have been startled by that.
Yeah.
I would have been like, what is this? Rather than seeing her from the back and getting comfortable with her, I was able to see that through you drawing it for me. And it made so much sense to me.
Yeah, it's clever how they do it. I mean, because the way you are, Danielle, I know they would work more on that, because they know you would accept it, but it's just going to take a little bit more time. Where there's some that could see a certain spirit guide and wouldn't accept it. Oh no, because they looked a certain way.
Yeah.
So it's clever how they do it. They're not stupid, are they? They really are not stupid.
Amazing. It's amazing. We have a question from Maxine Stewart that says, can anyone be a medium, or has it been decided before we are born? Will only mediums have a guide that will help them with mediumship?
I think everybody's got it in them to be a medium, but not everybody's paths wrote out to be a medium. Myself, we're not all going to be mediums, but I do believe we can instill and teach people to connect with their spirit guides and recognize signs from loved ones. There is nothing stopping that. As long as they trust, they should be able to connect with their loved ones and get messages and feel support and feel loved. Why not? But to go on and be a medium, not necessarily. It's everybody's life path's different at all different times, isn't it? So, and what was the other part about the spirit guide, Dani?
If they are going to, or will only mediums have a guide that will help them with mediumship? So if someone were not a medium per se, could there be a guide that would come in and help teach them mediumship?
If that's what the person wants, a lot of it is you've got to ask. It's free will. If you want to learn mediumship, just ask. I mean, the spirit guides are natural communicators of the spirit world anyway, really.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, you get so many different vibrations, but if you want to open that door, I think if you're asking the question, if I'm a medium, you should be exploring it anyway, because you're sort of answering your own question. You're just looking for confirmation from elsewhere. But if you're asking that question, Maxine, you've got to try it again, love. And it's just explore it. And ask for your guides for some sort of particular sign or confirmation. Like with me, I was unsure on something. I said, right, if this is the right path for me, if I'm really going to do this, send me a star. And I don't just want to see a star while I'm scrolling through Facebook. Send me a star. A couple of days later, a friend of mine messaged me saying, what's Maggie's name? Because I'm going to buy a star for her. You know, when you name a star after people.
Yes.
So she named a star after Maggie, and then literally a few days later, stars. And then after that, I kept getting stars. I mean, it was only a few weeks ago. My daughter walked through the door, my oldest, with a load of star balloons. And I'm like, because I'd been asking questions to spirit just before. Wow. So you can ask for particular signs to answer you, and I'll make sure they bring it. 100%.
That's amazing. I just want to share also that my view and opinion on that is very much like Lee's. I believe that everyone is born with the gift of being able to connect to the other side, and it just takes commitment to develop that mediumship. In teaching, I know that everyone has made a connection to the other side. It's just a lack of sometimes that being their path, or maybe a lack of commitment, or that fear that keeps them from developing it further. But I feel like when the world's vibration raises and everyone is using their spiritual gifts, I mean, we're getting to that place of more enlightenment, and that's what we want to achieve. But that human emotion of fear and doubt gets in the way.
Absolutely. And it's not just that. Sometimes it's just planting a seed and open people's minds to, yes, there is spirit out there, and yes, we are able to communicate. Whether you work full-time as a medium, not necessarily, but having that knowledge and being able to communicate, it helps. It helps. Like I said, for years, I was speaking to my gran and granddad in my head, and I thought it was more like a coping mechanism. But, you know, I was actually speaking to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maxine said that Lee's drawings are amazing, and we don't, nobody has to tell me that. I have probably at least six drawings myself. My husband has one, and my daughter has two. So I know that your work is awesome. Let's talk about that just a little bit. So I meant to grab one of my portraits, and I forgot to bring it down here, but you work with your hands.
Yeah. I tend to work more with, yeah, I'm very heavy-handed, believe it or not. I'm very heavy-handed. So it's not really something you'd expect of an artist, I guess. But I tend to use the soft pastel blocks, and I'll use my hands. And that's how we'll work. And now I've got some pencils as well, so I can go over bits and add bits of detail. But with the art, I just draw very automatically, and it just all comes out. And then when the drawing starts to slow down, I can say, right, show me this again, so I can see, and I'll get a little flash of it in my mind's eye. But very recently, I've started to notice, like on a plain bit of paper, because I need glasses, and while I'm drawing, sometimes, and like at the fairs, I have to take a photo with my phone just so I can have a look at it properly, because I can't see it properly when I'm drawing. But my daughter broke my glasses, so it's literally like, so, but if I take a photo on a drawing now, I start to see not even when I'm drawing a white piece of paper, I've started to notice white highlights of a face. So where your light would shine, I'm just seeing these lines of lights. Wow. So my work's starting to change again, but I'll do my readings in a mediumship way. I'll call the guide forward and work that way. And then I'll just work, set my intentions, and it all comes just out very automatic.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. I hope everybody watching, if you have not seen Leanne's work or gone to her page, which we'll talk about before we get done, I encourage you to go do that, or order a portrait. And we'll talk again about what they can order. But I want to tell another story here. I know a few months back, maybe it was about a year ago, I'm not even sure the timing on this. So I was shown a set of guides for myself that were 3 men that called themselves the 3 wise men. And I didn't know who they necessarily were, except for the first male gave me his name, Gideon. And I started channeling him a little bit. And some of the girls in my sanctuary group know this because I've channeled him for them. It's a teaching group I have. But you were doing a meditation, and I ended up on your meditation, and you were telling us to ask for a symbol or it was a symbol. I think you asked us to ask our guides for a symbol. And I kept getting something metal, but I couldn't see it. And I was so frustrated, and I didn't say anything, but you said to me, Dan, which is funny, you call me Dan because the only person in life that ever called me that is my mom. And Dan, I have this symbol for you. I need to give it to you. And so you drew it out. It was an anchor with a heart and a cross.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, this is probably what they were trying to show me, because I kept seeing something metal, but I didn't understand it. So mind blowing again. I looked this up, and this means hope, faith, and love. And this is what the 3 wise men told me their names were going to be in the book that I was going to write.
Because where you get it on a necklace over here, a cross, a heart, and an anchor, and it means, that. But I've not seen them since I was a child. So
I had never seen it.
Yeah.
I had never seen it. So, and since then, I understand that it's King Leo and Moses and Gideon, who were all men from history, who were all kind of spiritual leaders, and you've drawn them for me. So I'm super grateful for that. And if I think about it, I'll share my, did you mail those to me? I don't know if you did.
No, because I need you to send me pictures of the Native American. I need to check which one it is, but I think I found it. I think I know who it is from before, but they're all ready to go.
Okay. Anyway, I have the little pictures that you sent me in email or whatnot. So I'll try to share that for my group so that they can see it. But your work is phenomenal. And that story just blows my mind.
That was different, because the one I had trouble connecting with when I was speaking to, because usually when they're willing to work with me and I'm speaking to people, they'll come into my mind's eye or just come into my awareness. And it's almost for me like they're saying, we're happy to work with you. It's like a permission, which for me is massive. I'm really grateful for that, because it's like a blessing to me anyway. And the only one I was having trouble seeing at the time was Leo. And I was thinking, and then it was just weird, wasn't it? Because it was just before Christmas. I said, his energy reminds me of Santa. Just really loving, kind, giving, and bam, there you go. It's timing, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was very cool. That was very
cool.
Let's talk real quickly about, I should have asked you, I don't know if you even offer these anymore, but let's talk about your spirit guide oracle.
Yes. My friend Ashley, he's actually got he's made loads of his own decks now, but at a time, it was really strange, because I remember I was working working as a cleaner in a school, and I was looking up all these ways. How can I make my own oracle deck? It's a dream of mine. If there's anything I can accomplish, I'd love to make a spirit guide deck. And this chap, who's actually a good friend of mine still now, Ashley Romany Lee, he comes from like a long line of the Romany gypsies, and he's just bang spot on with he just gets everything. Doesn't matter what you say to him, he just seems to know. But he said, I'll do it for you. Wow. Simple as that. And he made my dream come true, He really did make my dream come true. But yeah, you can still get them. It's actually from a site in America. So if you're ordering from America, you can avoid all the extra fees, because I know there is extra fees if you're getting from the UK and back and forth, isn't there?
Yeah.
But yeah, you can order them. I can't think of the site's name.
Well, I'll get you to share a link, and I can share it on my my page. But these cards are amazing. I drew myself a card just as I was waiting for you to get on, and I got the awareness card. So I also, it's been a while since we've had these in our store, so I might try to put a small order together so I can have some too, and people can reach out to me that way. But we'll share the link with them how to order. Tell me what your future plans are. What do you see yourself doing next?
Oh, what do I have to say? Wow. Oh, wow. You wouldn't believe me if I told you, Danielle. Honestly, Jesus. Right. I've started a YouTube channel. Oh. Okay. It's there. The feelers are there. And obviously there is ideas. One in particular, letters from heaven. So basically, like, you pick your cards, but you'll be picking a letter, and each letter will be channeled from spirit to bring messages and guidance to people.
Whoa, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, it's really nice. Some of the stuff they've said to me, and I've cried listening about them. So I know they're not overwhelming me too much with what's going on there. So that's going to build slowly. Also, so many people struggle to meditate and see and do that whole journey in. So I've started to offer through Zoom, say, and we'll connect, and I will take you on a journey with your spirit guide. So I will be your eyes, I will be your ears, and I will explain absolutely everything that happens within that journey. Because when you let guides control the journey, absolutely everything means something from your first step out onto whatever ground you were walking on. I mean, I remember walking out my front door in my meditation, running over hot coals. Yeah, that become absolutely right, So absolutely everything means something. So if I can do that for people, but then I've got a feeling that maybe with a few sessions, they might actually be able to tune in and start seeing themselves. Mm-hmm. The meditation I made recently, a couple of people have said to me they don't usually see in meditation, but they have in that. Nice. Which again is a good thing. So I can help people with that. And Spirit also pushing me to develop my mediumship more, to be working in spiritual churches. Yeah. And giving messages. So we will see how that goes. But yeah, I've had this past few months is really taught me about helping normal people, not just people online who are developing, but normal people. Would you like a laugh? of an experience I had really recently.
Yes.
Okay, so me and my partner split just before Christmas, and I had to go to the job centre. Okay, so I had to go to them and explain about my self-employment. So I sat there with all the weird and wonderful people, and I was sitting there thinking to myself, they're not going to take me seriously, because they're going to ask what I do, and I'm going to be like, I draw dead people. But I kid you not, Danielle, I was, I should have been there about 20 minutes. I was there an hour and a half. I ended up with an audience of people, all the advisors coming, sitting. I was showing them photos of my guide overshadowing me. They were asking about auras, crystals, spirit guides, angels.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just, and it blew my head, because I come out of there like, what just happened there?
Wow.
The last place you expect to be. But it opened my eyes up. I knew what I was going through was very hard, but I knew I had to go through it because I had to gain that experience, because there are so many people suffering right now. And I really want to help these kind of people. You know, I've got plans for next year as well to be going and doing a lot more to help. Like, don't get me wrong, every month me and my family, me and the children will go and get stuff and put them into food bank baskets. So, you know, we haven't got a lot ourselves, but we always put a few quid in. So actually giving and then learning to take off something like that was a very humbling experience as well. But we're going to be looking at doing more that way as well. I don't know how exactly yet, but helping real people who need it. So I've always said I love doing my spiritual work, my mediumship and that aspect, but I've always felt I need to do a bit more actively for the community as well, to help that way. So hopefully a bit more of that this year too. That's where I'm at the minute anyway. But who knows?
No, right?
I don't really know whatever's going to come.
Yes. Oh gosh, we have lots of comments. Okay, this is amazing. Right place, right time. Wow, you just never know. So lots of people loving your story and experience there.
Mm-hmm.
Before I have Lee give you her contact info or her service options, things that she does anybody have any other questions you want to ask? I want you just to briefly talk about, you know, I've known you for, I don't know, somewhere around 8 years, maybe.
It's been a while now.
Yeah. And I mean, we've both seen different ups and downs in our lives of the challenges of good and bad, or positive and negative. And you've been through a lot of ups and downs in your journey. And I think that's typical for someone who's going through, who's a leader for helping others. I think that we have a lot of tests of faith. But what would you want to share there as far as what got you through, or someone who maybe is in the midst of that right now and feels like it's never going to get better?
What I discovered helped me the most, and it's crazy, like, was prayer. It was prayer that absolutely changed my life around, even when I didn't know. I'd been going through, I was living in a shared house, and I was drinking a lot. And I was just simply saying, I can't take this anymore. I need some sort of change. Something has to give here, because I'd had some stuff go on sexually that shouldn't have. And my mum abandoned me with it. So, you know, it was quite a painful, but a rather seeing the truth kind of time for me, even though it didn't feel like that at the time. I understand now. But I was in this shared house, and I was like, I need something to change. And I was just walking along the road, and I found rosary beads. Now, my family are all Protestants, so that's not a thing. You know, you didn't do that. You did not have the Catholic rosary beads. But I picked up them rosary beads, and I started praying. And slowly my life started changing. And I remember when I was at a development circle, and the medium now said to me, your grandmother's here saying, yes, she did it. She did it. simply the power of prayer. You have to ask for help. Some people see it as prayers, some people see it as attention, but it's just physically asking for help. And it's, don't get me wrong, I mean, only this time last year I was crippled, crying in bits with certain bits, you know. My trust and my faith wasn't always there. It's took me till probably now to say I can, hand on heart, 1000% truly trust I know spirit and they haven't got my back. Because, you know, they will, it's almost like they'll push you to the very last string or straw of your faith and they will poke it. How far is she going to go? How far can she take it? Does she know we're there? So they will do that, but at the same time, they will catch her. Yeah, we were there all along. There you go. So it's trusting and knowing. And I also find, depending on what you're going through, because I mean, we are human, we have to experience human emotions. There's no getting away from that. And, you know, if it's friends leaving you, or you've lost people to the spirit world, or your life changing, you're still going through a grieving process. So you need to be kind to you and respect you. And just as if you need to take a bit of time out, take a bit of time out. But also try not to dwell there. Do little bits to try and lift yourself up. And affirmations, I swear by as well. I really do swear by, but especially when it comes to self-love. They helped me a hell of a lot. And they, you know, you do them religious every day. It does restart reprogramming your brain in a better way. But you start seeing cracks forming in your reality and things start to change. You know, you have to be nice to you. You do deserve nice things. You deserve to be around nice people. Even in the darkest times, them things will come. It's like I'm very drawn to the Native American cycle. So winter, no. Never a good time for me. You know, usually I'm sleeping all the time in January. I should literally be a bear hibernating. Yeah. But it's because I'm more so tired from everything that's gone on through the year. But everything needs to clear. And I'm so drawn to the trees. So like a tree in winter, completely bare. Everything's laid bare. So you can see what's what and see where you're going next. But it's not easy. But we know springtime's coming back around and things start lifting and growing again. You know, so it's just listening to yourself, your body, your wants, your needs, and you're going through them trying times. Have faith and just say your prayers. Because believe it or not, even saying prayers and helping somebody. In fact, I had a little list that used to help me every day. So I've done the whole depression and everything, you know. It was like a little list. It was stuff like, do something that makes you smile in a day. Do something that helps somebody else because it increases your feeling better. You keep to this little list every day. It does help. It really does. So it's just faith and trust and knowing it's whatever's dark at the minute, it'll always come light. It's like the cycles. It's just cycles within cycles, isn't it? It's like a clock. Big cogs, little cogs. It's just so much going on at once. But also reach out for help. Don't ever think you're alone because there will be people that genuinely want to help you. You're not going to be as judged as what you think you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jen Retzel, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, asked if you pray to God or Jesus, if that's what you believe.
Right, it's just for now she's brought it up. I love our spirit work. Right, December. For years, it's always been Jesus. Because without realising, I had in my head that I couldn't believe in God and do the spirit work I was doing. Obviously, because of how religious texts had been filling me over the years, but I didn't realise I was doing it. And in December, I went into meditation and I met Jesus and I met an angel. But I was literally lay there rocking, saying, I believe in God. I believe in God. And I believe in God. And the penny dropped. Do you know what? Yeah, I do believe in God and I have all along. It's just simply, I was questioning because I didn't think I could do that and this. But that's how it's so easy to plant a seed in somebody's mind, but it's so hard to remove. So, but yeah, I pray to God, I pray to Jesus. I just send my prayers up, give him thanks, literally gratitude for everything. Also, I send prayers up to look after people. in all different varieties of way, you know, send love to everybody, you know. And yeah, but I'll tell you what, a really good trick. You know how anxiety works. And I used to wake up through the night with a panic attack. You know, I'd be waking up panicking. How am I going to pay my bills tomorrow? How is this going to you know, how am I going to do this? And Spirit gave me this actual idea. Every worry you get, put in a bubble and send it up to Spirit. Every time it comes into your head, put it up to Spirit. So I'd be like, this fear, worry, straight in a bubble, straight up. And for the first couple of days, I felt like I was just putting stuff constantly in a bubble. But then after about 3 days, I stopped waking up scared.
Wow.
It did work for me anyway.
That's
you
amazing.
just need to empty yourself and trust and send it up, because they will help. 100% they do help. It's just we don't see things instantly. We question it.
Yeah.
But we have to trust they're doing what they need to behind the scenes, you know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Kathy said that was a great idea.
It worked for me, and it still does. If I get a bit panicky still at times now, I'll do the whole bubbles and I'll send them up.
Yeah, very cool. So let's talk about your services. What things, if people were wanting to reach out to you, what are you offering currently?
So spirit guide drawings, obviously angel as well. Doing the journey with the guide meditations, but the times with them are a little bit limited, because I can only do them when my little one's in nursery. So when obviously people who are completely different time zones, from September I'll have a little bit more leeway. But the odd time I can do a Saturday as well, because the kids get taken out. Just try and see what I can work with. In March, I'm looking at doing another development group to help people connect with their guides, learn the symbolic messages with their guides. So it starts off basically that kind of thing will get you feeling your guide's energy, recognizing your guide's energy, learning the mechanics, your guide's energy signature calling cards. So, you know, it's working with colours, because obviously guides work so much with colours and symbolic messages. They absolutely love symbolic messages. So it's just a development group basically helping people learn who their guide is and give them the tools to build relationships with their guides. But the thing is, it's not a group where I come in and pop something in once a week. It's quite an active group, you know, so it'll be, and we'll do catch-ups and things. And at the end of it, it's very much a session where we'll be getting you to connect and draw your spirit guide yourself.
Perfect.
There's some people who can't see their spirit guides, drawing them just another tool. I've had people who don't see their guides, bring them onto paper. So there's that at the minute. And that's pretty much the services wise at the minute, or Zoom readings, spirit guide readings and stuff. Again, it's time limited at the minute. But that's not massive changes there.
No worries. I want to answer. Michaela asked if you couldn't see our comments. So Michaela and everybody, actually, we use StreamYard, which if you don't give them permission to have your name, we can't see who's commenting. So that's why who the names are, because I'm looking at it on my phone rather than on the StreamYard. But when you log on right away, it will ask you that. So if you guys give permission to StreamYard, then it will show your name. So it gets a little complicated. But I also wanted to answer, somebody asked if this would be recorded to be able to watch later. And it is being recorded because it's a live on Facebook. So it will go right onto my page when we're finished. And then it will also go over to my YouTube channel, so you can watch it in either place. So let's tell everybody how they can find you. Tell them what your name of your Facebook page is and your contact info, or how you'd prefer they reach out to you.
So if they're going to reach me by Facebook, I have a page on Facebook, My Guides and Me. And then the group I most use is Rainbow Hands. And that name was actually given to me by a friend's guide in Native American language.
Wow.
Chris, on my admin, Hi, Chris. I did say hello. But his guide, he made me a dream catcher, and he gave me these words in Native American, and it meant rainbow hands.
Amazing.
And yeah, and that stuck with me. I felt, I was really overwhelmed with love and emotion from that, because it just means so much when you get them bits back from God. You just know you're doing the right thing.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, rainbow hands and my guides and me really is probably the best way to reach out to me.
Perfect. And if anybody's interested in your workshop in March, they can reach out to you again through Facebook.
Yeah.
Leanne Higgs, if you are curious how to find her, is her full name on Facebook. Anything else you want to share with anybody that we didn't cover?
I don't know, not that I can really think of right this minute.
Yeah. Okay. Any last questions before we finish up here with Lee? Go ahead and post them in the comments there. I really want to tell you what a pleasure it is to have you live with me today. You have always been an inspiration to me with your artwork and your work in general. So I can't wait to see where you go from here. The fact that you use your fingers to draw just blows my mind, because I cannot make a pencil drawing look decent. And I tried for a little while and I did see progress. My first one compared to my 10th one was like, wow, that's better.
If it's something you're passionate about, you can make it happen, because seriously, you look at my first ones and to now, and I thought they were great back then. I thought they're absolutely brilliant. They were amazing. Honestly, but it's because I knew and felt there was spirit. I think with art, any type of art, even people that are not mediums, you'll know when that art spirit, you'll feel it. You'll be like, there's more to that. That's been guided, and it just grew with me, and it will just grow with anybody if anybody's really wanting to do that. Same with you, with your mediumship and helping people. From, you're helping the living, you're helping spirit too. So if your love's there and your passion's there, I've watched you grow over the years too, and you blow my mind sometimes, because I'm like, well, I didn't know Dan was doing that. And yet I'm really interested in it myself, I really am interested. I've met so many amazing people through you too. I mean, Juanita, don't even go there. I was having a laugh with her recently, because all these years I've been calling her Juanita. Right? And I literally just watched a film on Netflix called Juanita, and obviously it's spelled the same. So I messaged her. I said, I think I've been calling you the wrong name for years, and I have that so much like closeness and bonds with so many people I've met through you.
I love
and
that.
It's like almost like a second family to me. I love coming on and conversating, seeing people, what they're doing, and it's just been an amazing connection from get-go with both of us, I think, and crossing paths in how many different people we've met. I mean, we've come through some experiences too, over the years. But yeah, it's been amazing, and look where we are now. Who's seen this, 8 years ago? Never.
Exactly. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Well, we have one last question. Jen asked, can spirit help you, for example, to help quit smoking?
Do you know what? I can't specifically answer that. I mean, I've asked for help quitting smoking, and no, nothing. It's the human, it's free will, isn't it? You've got free will. You can ask for help. You can ask for guidance towards. I mean, I've asked for, instead of like direct help from them, I find asking them to help heal the situation helps. So, and this is something I've learned very recently. So I was having real bad financial troubles. And instead of saying, please ask it to bring me more work, please do this to bring finances in or what the rest, I simply just asked, can you please help me heal my financial situation? And within days, things start to heal. It's how you ask things, I think, you think one thing and you think, right, I can ask in this way. But if you're asking to be a situation to be healed, so if you ask, say, can you please help me heal this addiction with smoking, then it might work different, you know. It's always worth a try. I've just find so much of it's down to the wording, and it literally is almost like some precise wording at times. Like I've been doing this for years, and it's not only just now I've learned to ask to heal the situation, you know.
Yeah, I think sometimes some of those addictions, though, are our own challenges, and the only way to overcome them are our strengths. Because I did ask Spirit one time, and I said, can you help me? I was going to do a fitness challenge, a health and wellness challenge, and I knew I hadn't been successful in the past at it. It's a struggle for me. And I meditated and asked Spirit, how can you help me with this? And they said to me, if you want it bad enough, dig deep for it.
This is it. It's too hard, isn't it, to say definite yes. They can do things to help, like they could put support groups in your way or things like that. But it's up to you if you take the opportunities, isn't it?
Yeah.
And smoking's a hard one. It's not easy. A lot of people say, well, I don't know why people just don't give up. It's really not that easy. It's hard, you know. But I think if somebody's ready, they'll do it. You just have to really want it bad enough, don't you?
Absolutely. And I always give this to my clients too. Thank you. Christy said, both of us are amazing in our own rights. I appreciate that.
Thank you, my love.
Yes, we definitely resonate with that. I have a friend of mine said this to me one day, and it always stuck with me. So if you're doing something that feels like an unhealthy behavior, instead of thinking negatively about it or having guilt about it, I always just ask for it to pass through my body without harm. So that it doesn't come into my body with a negative vibration. And that can make all the difference in the world too, if you let go of the guilt about it and let go of the negative feelings. So all about
because that's so true. You talk, you know, when you do something and you don't wish you didn't, you sort of like tell yourself off, don't you?
Yeah.
So that is really quite a really good idea as well. Because I'm like, Leanne, I call myself names. What are you doing? And then there you go. You've already put negative onto a negative, haven't you?
Yeah. Something to think about, but
definitely.
Yeah. Hey, it has been so much fun having you here today. I really want to give you a big round of applause. We can't hear that, but I'm sure everybody's clapping for you on the other side. Such a pleasure. I love spending time with you. Everybody go out and check out her pages. My Guides and Me and Rainbow Hands and the Spirit Guide Oracle. If you want to order that, I can give you some contact info or a link for that. And we'll probably have some in our store here in the next few months. But truly a pleasure. If anyone is rewatching this and you need some contact info for Lee or need any help, just reach out. But thank you, everybody, for hanging out with Soul Chats and hanging out with Lee and I. And we'll see you again.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody that's come along. Danielle, honestly, thank you so much for inviting me. I've really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. It's just been really nice.
It's a pleasure. Really nice. Thank you so much.